Welcome back, everybody, to the weekly members podcast. We've got, I guess we have to edit that already. Jesus. Uh, Glad to see some friendly faces here, some regulars on here, and an old favorite, Patty the Batty. So, welcome, Jeff. Welcome, Kyle. Don't have a choice with Kyle, but and welcome, Patty. How's everybody doing this week? Are we
doing all right?
Even though none of our teams were in the Super Bowl, does it still feel like a letdown? Do we still have like sort of like a hangover from what we were thinking was going to be some kind of excitement or anything?
Can I give a hot take on that end, if I may, Paul?
Absolutely.
I get, and I'm not saying that it's what I want to watch either, and I get that defensive minded battles are not what people want to see in the Super Bowl, but I thought there was something really poetic about two secondaries, and I ain't talking about the front sevens right now and all that, but two secondaries that played so balls to the wall that it was so impressive in a league that's so pass heavy. Yes, I see that. What's happening, Ellie? Sorry, we're watching Sing for 85,000 times here in this household. But anyways, just even the Patriots, Christian Gonzalez shutting down JSN. The guy Woodson, I think, was their leading tackler. Like, I know that you look at Kenneth Walker's stat line as the MVP. He had 7 for 75 in the first quarter and then had 20 carries for 45 or 50 yards for the rest of the game. Like, that wasn't because the linebackers started playing better. That's because they started dropping the safety in the box and they started tackling. I think there's something so poetic about that. Now, would I have loved to see a shootout and see the Patriots in it and make it a better game? Sure. But as a football fan, I loved seeing those two secondaries show out personally.
I think that's a good take.
I wasn't expecting that take. What other perspectives we got out there?
I agree with Patty. I enjoyed seeing defensive battle, two defenses playing excellent, like all around just excellent and stifling the offense. And that doesn't bother me really. I just, I wish it was a closer game, but it was just so impressive to see how good that Seattle defense is as a unit. Also,
Patriots young
offensive line.
They're super young too.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. They reminded me of another defense that we saw not too long ago in the biggest game of the year. I don't know if you guys remember last year's Super Bowl. Not that we're talking about the past,
Eagles, the 2013 Eagles, or the 2013 Seahawks. Is that you're talking about?
No,
2013 Seahawks, Legion of Boom. That's what you're talking about?
Last year's Eagles defense that smothered a better quarterback. Still a pretty bad offensive line, but I will say, like, Will Campbell, when he got drafted, he was talking all that stuff, saying, I'll do this, I'll do that to protect Drake May. Well, he didn't do any of it in that Super Bowl. Any of it. He was laid on his back quite a few plays, and he was manhandled. So I don't think that's going to be like the calling card for Will Campbell in his career, but that's not a good thing for him right now to see that in the biggest game of his career, he got manhandled the way that he did.
Well, he against top edge guys, he was getting manhandled anyway. He gave up 3 of Myles Garrett's 5 sacks in that Browns game. He had trouble with some of the other guys in the playoffs too.
Yeah,
there's Anderson and Hunter in Houston.
I think it didn't help that they have a rookie left guard next to him. I'm not trying to be a defender of Will Campbell. Like I'm not trying to be a Will Campbell defender, but I think you look at his tape from a majority of the year, he actually did, live up to some of those expectations. And I know in the biggest game that comes down to it, that the spotlight's going to be on him. But you have to like what frustrated me from a New England standpoint is it seemed like every time they threw the ball, they were looking for some sort of like 10 to 15 yard dig or post route or something over the top. Like Hunter Henry didn't have a catch, I think, until like late third quarter. You're getting a pass rush. You either have to chip that end or check down to tight ends or check down to running backs. And it seems like it was too little too late. It was too little too late before they started checking down to Travion, checking down to Ramondre, throwing the ball to Hunter Henry, and it seemed like at that point Seattle was just rushing 4 and playing a too high shell, and it was like doesn't really matter at this point in time.
Yeah. Well, I mean, look, I will pose this question and just get you guys' thoughts. I mean, when do you think we'll see Ben again as a New England fan? I mean, I'm going to go out and be cliche and say I think the next time we're going to see him is May.
Red Sox opening day.
It's going to be May.
Red Sox opening
It's going to
day.
be May. It's going to be May is when we'll see him. That's all he wanted to talk about. And then he decided I got to work tonight. I can't make the pod. So shout out to you, Ben. I know you're going to watch this, and I know you're going to be butthurt about it, but, it is what it is. If you hop on after halftime, we'll give you 30 seconds.
Hypothetical for the three of you. Better chance that this is the last time we see Drake May in a Super Bowl, or better chance that he makes it back again in his career?
Last time we see him in a Super Bowl.
I'd probably agree.
Yep. I think it's going to be, before they even have a shot again, it's going to take them 2 or 3 years. Vrabel's a great coach, don't get me wrong, and they're a young team. They got a nice young core, but it's not like the AFC is just sitting stagnant. The Patriots were a Bo Nix injury away from not even being in that game anyway. So let's not act and let's be real about their schedule. I know everybody talks about it and says that they didn't really play anybody, but they played a cupcake schedule this year. And you look at all the quarterbacks that they faced, they didn't face a lot of Pro Bowl caliber quarterbacks that are in the AFC. Next year, they will. And we'll see what their record is. Hot take right now, no more than 8 wins next year for the Patriots. No more than 8 wins.
I think that's a little harsh, but I don't necessarily disagree with your take on it. I think it's hard because the AFC is such a gauntlet. You have to think KC reloads. You have to think Baltimore reloads. You have to think that Buffalo, at least, is the same caliber team. And that's not even counting Denver, who probably improves as long as Bo gets, healthy. And I think the Chargers are like Joel and Rashawn Slater were hurt half the year and they won 11 games. 11 games with probably the worst offensive line in football. And I don't agree with that, guys. I'm sure you talked about in the football pod a little bit, like the guy who voted for Justin Herbert for MVP. I don't agree with that vote. But at the same time, what does the word valuable mean? The Chargers, there's just so many teams that are probably going to get better. Cincinnati with a full season of Burrow, hope maybe. Are they better? I think that, there's just so many teams in the AFC. It's such a gauntlet. Not that the NFC is not, but it's hard because it's we're so in the moment that you want to say that he'll never make it back. But at the same time, would it surprise me if they're, an 11-win team next year? No. Would it surprise me if they're an 8-win team? I don't think so either.
Well, let me ask you this. When Joe Burrow was in the Super Bowl after they lost that game, if they asked you that same question, will Burrow be back in the next 5 years, what would your answer have been?
No, because I hate the Cincinnati Bengals.
Understood, but unbiased opinion, everybody on this pod probably would have said,
I would have said that he made it back. I would have said that he would have made it back simply because of his talent. But then the question I'd also ask you is, from day one, I have said, and I'm not saying that everybody has to agree with this, from day one, I have said that with hindsight is 2020, but I said it during the draft. Do you think Cincinnati regrets taking Jamar Chase over Penei Sewell?
100%.
With the amount that Joe Burrow's been hurt in his career, do you think that they regret not taking Penei Sewell and, Jamar Chase, but they still would have had T. Higgins and probably, gotten another second or third round weapon here or there. And Jamar Chase is phenomenal, top 3 wideout in the league. But when have we seen, and again, this year, different with Smith and Jigba, but he didn't show up in the Super Bowl over the last, 10 years, with the exception of Kupp in that year that the Rams won and Tyreek when he was a Chief. Other than those 2 years, have we really seen a legitimate top 5 wide receiver make a difference for a Super Bowl winning team?
I think they had to get Chase. I mean, it was Burrow's buddy in college. I think that was a different scenario. I don't think they can't have regrets about it, whether they should have done it or not. But I think they sleep well at night knowing that they drafted him. Doesn't mean it was the right choice, but I don't think they had any option. I mean, that was another, we're going for it.
Yeah. And Jamar's a can't miss guy. Like I don't think it was a bad pick by any means. I don't think that it was a miss by any means. I think you just have to have a little retrospect in saying Joe Burrow at this point in his career has been hurt how many times, and whether that's because of himself or because they haven't protected him. Paul, what's the UNC score? You're looking up. What's the UNC score?
They're down 5.
Yeah.
What do you mean down 5? What do you mean by
Down
that?
5.
All right, that's
They're
it, Steve. And the
losing by 5
pod. The
points.
capital gains are canceled. Good night, everyone. See you later. Thanks for stopping by.
Yeah,
they
look,
can't
one
get,
last
they
thing on
can't
the
get a
Bengals.
defensive rebound.
Like, I mean, how long ago were they in the Super Bowl? 4 years now? It's been 4 years since they were in the Super Bowl.
4 seasons, yeah.
You've known since that Super Bowl you needed to address the offensive line, and they still haven't. And they still haven't addressed either one of those really. So, but they've re-signed T. Higgins, they re-signed Jamar Chase. So like they're going after the flashy stuff. It's almost like they're doubling down and not addressing what they need to do. And I'm sure you love it being a Steelers fan because it's like, okay, you know,
well,
you might put up 40 points, but you'll give up 41.
You talk about organizational dysfunction, and you know, like the Bengals for getting to that Super Bowl bought them a few more years of like, oh, they're competent. They have Joe Burrow. Like they can do this. But like, I'll just sit here and say it. Like, I think that any one of those Bengal teams with Dalton or Palmer were better than the Joe Burrow team that went to the Super Bowl. They were at least a legitimate top 10 defense in the NFL at those times, and they just choked because Marvin Lewis is a bum. Like, but like at the same time, like it's hard because it's like, if you were a Bengals fan, do you ever trust them to get there? Like I'm in New York. Every day on sports radio, they talk about, and it's not a bad thing, they just talk about how could you ever trust the Jets to pick right? How could you, the Jets have 5 first-round picks. How could you ever trust in your gut that they're going to do it the right way in Cleveland, in Cincinnati, in the Jets, even like Minnesota? How bad does Minnesota feel that they let Sam Darnold walk out the door? And they have a legitimate defense, maybe not Seattle's defense, but a legitimate defense paired with Sam Darnold, like, and you let him walk out the door for 6 wins or 7 wins, you know?
Yeah.
I know Justin Jefferson doesn't feel good about that.
Nope.
He already said it.
Yeah, I totally would have kept Darnold and got rid of McCarthy because having one season of Darnold proving he could run the offense well, then let him walk and then go basically to, from scratch, try to build up a rookie who has no experience.
I think it was 2 things. I think the hard part is, was it a GM move now that the GM's been fired, or was it a KOC move? Like, I find it hard to believe that it was KOC making that call. And at the end of the day, Ellie, okay? And at the end of the day, the thing for me is, like, did they want to pay Darnold? And I'm not saying that he wasn't worth the money, because obviously you look at Seattle, he was worth the money right now. Like, did they feel like they wanted to play Darnold and not fill in holes elsewhere? And now you look back again, we talk about hindsight is 2020. You look back now and you say, you probably should have paid Darnold and, skimmed out elsewhere. But I mean, it's one of those things where it's like the NFL more than any other sport. And I'm not saying that doesn't happen in other sports, but the NFL more than any other sport, maybe the MLB is similar. It seems like there are functional franchises that are always in the top half of the league, and there are non-functional franchises who are bottom half of the league. And sometimes they flip, and sometimes they go through runs. Like, for instance, like, I'm sure, Paul, like you would say 20 years ago or 25 years ago that the Washington was you would have considered them a, top half of the league, well-run organization. They hire the right guys. They sign the right people. Now, 20 years later, it's maybe getting back with Daniels, but rarely do you ever see teams flip-flop back and forth consistency. You mostly see this, and maybe you have a team kind of go like this in the middle. But it's the NFL is weird like that, man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, before we move on from NFL conversation, I do want to give out a stat since Kyle likes his stats. So Kenneth Walker was a running back who won MVP. It doesn't happen all that often. I will say, though, that the Eagles are the only team in their division that doesn't have a running back that's won MVP of the Super Bowl. Otis Anderson, Emmitt Smith, John Riggins. No Eagles. Maybe Lincoln could be your MVP. That stupid bird.
What does that matter? They have 2 Super Bowl MVPs that put on dominant performances.
And people
The
can't
2
start.
Eagles
And
Super Bowl MVPs were better performances than any of those running backs.
negative
More
Ghost Rider
dominant.
than you didn't.
No, that just tells you
No.
how bad the quarterback play
No.
was in those Super Bowls.
Ew.
This is the
mean,
point in
no?
time where I say I have as many Super Bowl MVPs as the Eagles running backs. Bam, there you go, Steve. Plug it in. Thank you.
There you go. So since we've got Kyle fired up already, let's move to a little bit of NBA, and maybe you can give us a little bit of key us in on the AI clarification. So is AI still the biggest jerk that ever lived when he went over to
No.
Australia, or was this a little bit of lost in translation?
They have that accent over there, and he couldn't understand the time difference. So there's a time zone difference and everything else. He couldn't understand it. I told you last week when we talked about this that it's going to come out that there was a miscommunication and a misunderstanding of what the actual expectations were of his visit and all that stuff. So that's how they spun it. And I still think that there's probably more truth that we won't ever know, and I'm sure that there was some money being exchanged to hush the critics, so to speak. But it's amazing what'll happen when the media in a certain city likes the athlete versus a media in a certain city that doesn't like an athlete, right? Jalen Hurts, Super Bowl MVP. They now all day on sports radio today, they're talking about nobody wants to give him an extension. It's a prove it year for him. He's been to 2 Super Bowls in 5 years, made the playoffs every single year, but now he has to prove it, right? But yet Allen Iverson flies across the world, skimps out on visiting children, and now it's a miscommunication or a misunderstanding of everything. It boggles my mind. It absolutely boggles my mind how one guy can do every single thing right outside of the sport and still gets criticized. The other guy can almost do every single thing wrong outside of the sport, and he's beloved. He's beloved. That's my problem with Philadelphia media. It's no consistency whatsoever. If you're going to bash somebody, bash
So-
everybody the same way.
Kyle, what I'm hearing is that you have the same sentiment towards LeBron, who does everything right off the court, but Michael Jordan, who might have been a bit of a. So I'm feeling that you kind of have a good comparison here.
Yeah. Listen, I have no problem with LeBron. I like LeBron, and you're right. LeBron's never been in trouble outside of the sport. You don't hear any controversy. You don't hear anything like that. So that's what you hear out of Jalen Hurts. But Jalen Hurts gets bashed. AI's been historically like this outside of the sport, tied to so many different things and so many different it's ridiculous in my opinion. But yeah, Paul, I told you last week that it was going to be spun in a way of miscommunication or some type of misunderstanding, and that's how they're trying to do it. I still think Bogut's a piece of trash for his comment, and nobody cares what Andrew Bogut says, so he can go to hell and rot in hell for all I care. But I do think there's more truth to the AI thing that we'll never know, and I'm sure AI's publicist kind of threw some money at some people and said, "Hey, spin this in a way that like his agent didn't tell him everything that was required of him," and that's what you're hearing now. So,
And he's only got a couple years before that Reebok trust comes due. So I'm sure he's trying to do everything he can to cash in on that.
oh, absolutely. I don't think he'll be the NBA's global ambassador anytime soon after that Reebok deal kicks in.
Since we had a biased bronzexual chime in there, I see that he today actually became a casualty of the minimum games required rule for being all NBA. It's the second week of February, and he is already ineligible to win all NBA for a record 22nd
the
time.
42-year-old guy averaging 22 points a game is going to make the All-NBA. It's going to hurt his legacy.
The coaches still voted him into the All-Star game, so same idiot voters absolutely could name him to the All-NBA team. Jeff knows what's up. He's nodding.
Yeah. No, I like.
Yeah, F him.
He shouldn't be in the All-Star game, I don't think.
Didn't he get fan
and he's
voted
not
in the All-Star
playing-
game or no?
He's not playing at an All NBA level,
No, he was a
like
reserve.
anyway. So who cares?
Oh, okay.
Basically,
Yeah, I mean, you're not going to hear anything from me saying that he's playing at all the NBA level this year. He's not.
right?
But
yeah,
if we're holding it against a 42-year-old that he's not playing against an all NBA level, I think we need to have that conversation.
it's
Hey, everybody held it against Tom Brady when he was doing it, and I mean, I don't think Aaron
Well,
Rodgers got too much of a
wait a
break
minute.
this year either when he was playing like garbage.
Is he playing
Yeah,
like
he
garbage or is he
wasn't.
not playing like an all NBA player?
All the above. C, all the above.
I respectfully disagree with that take. I think he's doing better than 85% of the NBA right now at 42
Oh, I
years
thought we were
old.
talking about Aaron Rodgers. I thought you were. That was about Aaron Rodgers. I was like, no, I don't think he did. Yeah,
Got
no.
it.
No, I think
I thought we were still
no.
on
I think what
LeBron.
I think what he's doing is it's super impressive. Are you kidding me? And there's no
Yeah, okay.
one, well, except for one person, that could do that at 42 because they can also do it at 52 and 62 and 72 if
Okay,
we have to
pal.
get there.
Hop off the stool for a minute and take a look at what you're saying.
Negative. Jordan.
Jordan can't even
Jordan,
jump.
of course. Yeah,
I know, but you
can't
know
even
what? He
jump
would try
anymore.
and get out there. He's the most competitive person that's ever lived.
But he can't jump
Most
anymore.
Yeah,
competitive.
look at his
He's
wizard
already said
stats.
that. He
Look at
can't
his
jump.
wizard stats and tell me he could do it at 52 and 62.
Hey, he still and even with those stats, he still ended up with his career average of at least 30.0. I wish
How many
Steve
assists a
would
game did he
come on
average?
here.
How many
You
assists
don't
a game
need
did
to
he
assist
average?
no need for assists.
How many
when all the
rebounds did he
balls go in.
average?
You know, there's no rebound if the ball's going in every time.
Okay, so he's a great scorer, but a great defender. I will never take that away ever from him. He's a phenomenal defender. But last I checked, we're looking at basketball players, not just scorers.
Oh. Since Jeff is here, he can't run the stats for us, but according to the Beard of Knowledge, he says that the Wizard stats were actually pretty impressive. Some of them. Not every single day, but, seeing
Okay,
impressive.
can I just throw this out there? His only other
Probably
player
not.
on the
I prefer you
Wizards,
didn't.
the only other player on the Wizards that could score when he played for them was Richard Rip
Oh,
Hamilton.
here it
okay?
comes. Here it comes.
And I
Javaris
just want to throw out
Clinton.
there my alma mater. He went to Coatesville High School, so just throwing that out there. Paul, I know you know that because I'm sure Randler's never let you live that down. Probably
Yes,
reminded
that's
you of
why he
that.
was like,
And
I was
the
like,
fact
why
that
the
he
hell
went
do
to
you like Richard
UConn.
Hamilton?
Yeah.
It's like, why do you like UConn? Why do you like Richard Hamilton? Oh man, I've got all these tapes of Coatesville and Lower Merion and blah blah blah, and I mean, I don't have anything. The only thing I have against Richard Hamilton is really Mike Randler, so it's not his fault. I follow the where is it? I follow the 2000 whatever Pistons right there. There's a jersey right there of Rasheed Wallace, but
There you go.
I love that. I love that team, but no, I'm probably never going to give Rip what he's due, and that's fine. I'm gonna have to live with that. So
Rip Hamilton's the greatest player in NBA history to ever wear a mask. Hands down. Hands down. It's not debatable. It's not debatable. Listen, because he worked for like 5 or 6 seasons straight. There's some people
Are we
that
talking
work
about
for
the
half a
longevity of
season.
the mask?
No.
We're talking about the
just because of
longevity of
how
the
good
mask?
he was with it. I mean, look, you want to bring up Kobe for like the 15 games that he wore a black mask? Sure. You want to bring up other players?
I'd probably bring up like the
owned
half
it.
season of Kyrie. If I was to
It
pick
had
one
nothing
mask
on Rip
player, I'd probably bring up
Hamilton.
the half season
Get
of
out of
Kyrie.
here. Nothing
Oh
on
my
Rip
God,
Hamilton.
please stop. Oh my God.
Kyrie's a flat earther. Are you kidding me? Thinks the
I
world's
don't care
flat.
that he's an idiot. I don't care that he's an idiot.
Are you?
Sit on this podcast and tell me that you think that Rip Hamilton's a better basketball player than Kyrie Irving.
Wearing a mask, absolutely. That was what I was saying. That's what I was saying. I said wearing a mask.
Are you saying we should go back in time and make sure Rip Hamilton has a broken nose his entire career?
I mean, he basically did his
Maybe a
entire
Hall of
career.
Famer.
He worked for like 7 seasons, I think, 7 or 8. So, I mean, he's borderline Hall of Fame if you look at his stats.
Yeah.
Oh, I think he's great, and Kyrie's not borderline
Plus-
Hall of Fame. He is a Hall
plus-
of Famer. So
Well, Rip's probably going to get in because it's the Basketball Hall of Fame, and what he did in college was.
I love
better
Rip
than what
Hamilton. I'm
Kyrie
not
did
here
in
to
college.
squat on him at
So,
all, but
just saying, when they wore masks, Rip Hamilton was better. Just saying, it's not debatable. Greatest NBA player to ever wear a mask.
as soon as we hang up, I'll find some mask stats.
I hope
So
you
this Carolina
do. I
game's
hope you do.
this Carolina game is about to be over. The most insane play just happened. Insane 3-point play that nobody could ever calculate. So let's go ahead and move on from that.
What up, everybody? The Beard is here. Hey, I want to give a quick shout out to one of our sponsors, the law offices of William P. Harrington. Credit card litigation, Chapter 7 bankruptcy, estate planning, estate administration, guardianships, they do it all. As a member, listener, follower, supporter of our network, they are offering you a 15% discount on these services. So if you are in the Pennsylvania or New Jersey area, schedule your free consultation today.
Hey everyone, thanks for listening. Just a few quick reminders for everybody. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Michael Jordan is the GOAT. And check out our fellow podcaster, Jim Montgomery, with This Day in Philly Sports History. Thank you.
But we will stay in the college basketball realm as we've got a little shenanigans. Finally, some of it, putting some shenanigans to bed a little bit. Clown from Alabama who got, a restraining order from a University of Alabama alum judge who then immediately recused himself, has now been expunged, and the kid is no longer allowed to play for like the third time. It's like his third stint at Alabama. That was one of the dumbest things I'd ever seen in my life, but I'm hoping that puts it to bed. It couldn't happen to a worse person than Nate Oates. I will say that. Although I think he's probably one of the top candidates to be Carolina's new coach if they fire Hubert, which looked pretty likely until we pulled that amazing comeback against Duke that we are now making look useless at the moment. And
Can I ask you a question? So I know you know who did it. So just admit who did it. You know who punched one of John Shire's staff members in the face after that game when they stormed the court. Who did it?
Yeah.
I want their
Yeah.
name
Do you
on
know
this
where I
podcast
was?
right now.
Do you know where Paul Douglas, right in the face, right in the frickin' schnoz.
I figured it was you. That's why I asked. I will say this, being a Kentucky fan, I love the fact that the judge overturned it. I will say this, any game that Alabama won this year where he contributed while he was playing should be voided. They should take that game out of it, and especially if it comes down to Alabama going and being on the bubble and the committee looking at Alabama going, maybe they should make it. No, they should take those wins out and rate them without those wins. That's how they should do it. Because it's garbage that they let this guy play for them.
I think he averaged 10 points actually when he was there.
Yeah, right. And I guarantee you they won a couple games when he was playing for them.
Pal.
Yeah, I think they should. And the committee has the power to do that. They have the power to rate these schools the way that they see fit. Just take those wins out of it and rate them without him playing there. And that's the way that they should do it. Will they do it? Who knows? But that's the way you really take control out of this. That way, until they come up with sanctions on schools so they can't go after G League players and all this other fun stuff, that's the way to get schools to think twice about going after a G League player. You can go after him all you want, and he can play for you. But if you get 6 wins and you're on the bubble, guess what? Those 6 wins are vacated, and now you're not on the bubble. You're not making the tournament.
What I think really takes the cake for me is that he was already there previously in college. Like, it's not like they found some random dude. They're like, hey, remember us? They're like, oh, yeah, I remember you. Hey, you want to come play again? And he's like, yeah, this $50,000 a year from the G League ain't doing anything, and I don't really feel like going overseas. Why don't you come back and play here, and we'll give you a couple million to finish out the rest of the season to ensure that we make the tournament and are stay competitive.
Yep.
I mean, why would I guess I can't say the kid, but why would the guy, this older gentleman, say no?
I mean, I don't blame him. I don't blame the kid. I blame Alabama,
Sure.
and I blame the NCAA for allowing it. That's what I blame. I don't blame the kid for making the decision, because why wouldn't you? If you're able to, like, you're playing in the G League where nobody's attending those games, making $50,000, as you said, or whatever it was, and you can go back to college, play all you want, get an NIL deal, and probably make $50,000 every game at Alabama. You know what I mean? Like, why wouldn't you do that? Absolutely. But the NCAA obviously realized that they screwed up. They didn't have enough rules around this, and now they tried to get, and who knows? They probably, just like Alabama paid off the first judge, the NCAA probably paid off the second judge to overturn it. So we'll see what happens. But I think you're going to see more strict rules around certain parameters of this moving forward. I think there's going to be certain things right after this season that they're going to be like, nope, this is the rule that's in place. You can't do this, you can't do that, and hopefully it does happen because the NCAA needs to get a hold of it for sure.
Better happen.
Yeah.
Well, like, look at the circus it is now. Like, as a matter of PR, as a matter of integrity, they have to do something.
Well,
yeah, I mean, it's already out of hand with the NIL.
Yeah.
There's a guy from Montana that just got his 9th year of eligibility. He actually
Right, I saw that.
started at USC, got a full degree, went complete undergrad, and didn't play a single game because of injury. I think he finally played in like a 5th year at some point, played like 7 games total. And then he's played
Van
at
Wilder from Sports World.
Yeah. And he's out there playing for Montana again. So, I mean, he's got to have the least amount of games played per eligibility like ever.
Oh, speaking of that, so, not to shift too far we're still in the college ranks, but did you guys see about North Dakota State? North Dakota State
moving to the Mountain West.
More than likely.
Yes,
and hold on, but the best part about that, North Dakota State is joining the conference before Notre Dame is joining the conference. Isn't that crazy?
All right. Good night, everyone. Shout out to our sponsors, Sparrow Hair Studios. If you're in Lancaster, PA, stop and see Lean. What else? Okay, Lotwin. You can get a Notre Dame hype chain that says, "We're going to take our ball and go home." Shut up, Kyle.
And just to continue on that, it's LOTWYN, and you get a 10% discount if you put in the code TCCPOD. So, Patty, do you think that we should allow Kyle to go through the last sponsor, or just say, F them kids, we're going
Honestly, home? Whatever you want to do, Paul, I support you. Kyle is getting, slowly moved down the Montgomery leaderboard every week that I see him. Slow.
Go ahead, Paul. Say your normal thing right about now. He said, I'm moving down the leaderboard. Go ahead and say it.
No, well, you can't. I mean, it was already you were already the cut on the start bench cut, according to your Uncle Roach. I can't imagine if we start to put John in there that you're going to hop him. So
can we get Uncle Roach on the pod? That sounds like an interesting guy.
He's definitely an interesting
No, we've
guy.
already.
Yeah.
Well, his real name is Randy, and I'm pretty sure we've already met the capacity for Randy. So one's got to go if we get to rent a new one. But I'm pretty sure he's got unanimously biased, ignorant Philly takes. So I think we're kind of stocked up for right now. But, I don't see why we couldn't put it on a chain at least, right? We could take your Notre Dame chain and write that on the back of it.
Yep.
His one take, and I'll tell you right now, his one take is the fact that the greatest basketball player of all time is not Michael Jordan. It's Wilt Chamberlain.
That's right. Was it Wilt Chamberlain?
Yep.
And I can't wait. I can't wait to see the shirt. I can't wait to see the shirt in about a month and a half. You'll see the March
Madness every year. Yep. It happens every year.
Oh, let me give you some March Madness trivia. Who on this podcast would have asked what month March Madness was?
Randy.
Who on this podcast? Yes, 100%. Did it about an hour ago. It was like, I'm going to Switzerland. Are we going to be like, when's, I want to make sure we do it around the draft and blah, blah, blah. So I'm coming to March Madness, but when is it? Is it March or is it April? Well, I don't know, Randy. Who's buried in King Tut's tomb? Can you tell me that? If you answer that, I'll answer your question. So, ridiculous.
You can't make it up.
It gives me chills. Gives me chills. Speaking of chills, let's talk about how cold it is in Italy and all the people doing stuff on ice and snow out there. Lindsey Vaughn tried to pretty much essentially committed suicide. Tried to commit suicide. I don't know what it was, but that was terrible. They're running out of they're literally it's gonna be like they're gonna have to be robbing the mortuaries because they're just running out of ACLs and internal organs.
Yay!
We
Ben.
interrupt this regularly scheduled program to give you Ben McNally to give us his hot
Loser.
take of the Super Bowl. Ben, the floor is yours. Tell us how upset you are.
Oh my God, that's Steve the Pirate.
It is Steve the Pirate
from Dodgeball.
Yarr.
Yarr. Yeah. We're sitting here 48 hours later, still commiserating. Talked a lot about all-time defenses the last month. Well, the Patriots finally got to play an all-time defense because that was a beatdown. That was varsity versus freshman. They had no chance. It's I don't know. There's not much to say. Like 3 players showed up to play. That was it. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? But it was a good year all the way around. My expectations preseason were the 7th seed in a playoff game, and they far exceeded that. So, it sucks being 500 in Super Bowls all time now, but we still got the same as the Steelers and more than everyone else. So suck it, everyone. How about that?
There you go.
And
That's
that'll send us to
commendable.
our sponsors,
Amen.
Lotwin, Hype Chains, LOTWYN, Lotwin. You can buy your hype chain. See you later, Ben. Thanks for joining the pod. We will see you next time.
Adios.
So you got any final thoughts for us, Ben, on what you're looking at now? Where do the Patriots go from here?
Where do the Patriots go? I think they really got to beef up that offensive line. That was the clear difference in the game. That Seattle front had their way with Will Campbell, with Wilson, with Bradbury, the whole line. The Drake May didn't have a chance, but it did seem like his shoulder injury was more than people let on. He's talking today about getting shot up before the game, and it happened in Denver. So, I mean, who knows? Maybe he tore his labrum. Maybe he did something else. I don't know. But having to get shot up before a game is never a good sign. I'd like to see them go back into the draft and get a couple linemen. I've been saying for weeks now, Max Crosby. I think he's coming to New England. I hope AJ Brown is too. But we'll see. We'll see. That's who I want. Max Crosby and AJ Brown. Let's run it back, and then whatever lineman they draft or sign in free agency.
So if you get AJ Brown, does that mean you still have Stephon Diggs?
I'm gonna say probably not. That's a little bit too much diva in the wide receiver room. One is okay. That's manageable. I'd call Mac Hollins a diva receiver. I still don't really like that guy, even though he was one of the few Patriots that showed up. But the whole barefoot thing, the whole theatrics pregame, there's a time and place for that, but not when you don't back it up. It's tough to really kind of support that kind of stuff.
While they didn't show up on Sunday, I think all your Tar Heels are your best players on your team. So I'm not going to hear that about Drake May or Matt Collins. They're both superstars in my book.
Yeah. It was Craig Woodson, Christian Gonzalez, and Milton Williams, and I guess Matt Collins. That was about it. Everyone else was out to lunch.
Christian Gonzalez, that was, they were spotlighting him quite a bit because he was the only one that showed up for defense. That was nice. So you think you might have a shot at AJ Brown? From what I understand, you're probably going to have to give up something stupid for it, though. That's the only thing.
Last offseason, I would have said yes, but I think with the way the year went for the Eagles and he kind of brought his value down last year, I think it would have been a first rounder and then something, but I think we can maybe get him for a second rounder because the Pats are going to be picking 31st in the round, so that's basically an early third rounder versus what people were saying, like a mid first rounder last year or top of the first round. So I don't know. We'll see. But it doesn't sound like he's sticking around.
You shouldn't be drinking and driving. There's no way the Eagles are trading AJ Brown for a late second rounder, and that's it. What are you, crazy? I know you might be
Hey,
still a
hey, I
little,
don't
little
know.
tipsy from the
Well,
Super
maybe
Bowl.
that something stupid is Diggs.
Nah, they
I
won't
Yeah,
mean,
put Diggs in.
yeah,
throw Diggs in there
yeah. Diggs for
and
AJ. Just
throw
switch it
another
up.
draft pick and
Diva for Diva.
even for
Kyle,
Diva, yeah.
do you want Diggs, Kyle?
No, I don't want anything. Listen,
I want Diggs.
what
I want
Diggs
Diggs.
did in that fourth
I want Diggs in
quarter
Philly.
when they were when they were losing and time was expiring and he decided to twist the football and spin the football on the field. That's why I don't want Diggs.
Yeah, I hear you.
That's no different than what receiver was it like, Paul, 10, 15 years ago that got up and like spiked the football instead of handing it to the ref? You remember that? Where like time was and they all needed to like run up and like spike the ball and
Yeah,
he decided to like spike it after he got a gain and the clock just
Oh
kept
yeah,
ticking.
yeah,
I
and he
forget who
ran
it
out the
was.
clock. Yeah.
Yep.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah. I
I
kind
know
of
what
remember
you're
that
talking
That's
too.
the
about.
No, I
selfish
can't
kind
remember what
of
it was. I do remember that.
that's the selfish kind of move that, just drives a fan nuts,
Yeah.
man. Now granted, it's not like
Yeah.
it would have mattered much for you guys, but still, like it's the principle of the whole thing. Like that's
Well,
him thinking
yeah.
of himself and
That's
all
just.
that crap. So
But unfortunately, that's just the NFL in general these days. Everyone is, look at me. Oh, look I got a first down. Oh, look, I got
Right.
3 yards. Let me point forward. Let me do a little dance. Like, just enough with that. I
yeah.
really hope they like start to implement rules where it's like you start doing that, fine, penalty, 10-yard penalty, 10-yard penalty. They got to get that shit out of the game. No place for that, especially in crunch time like that.
But they interviewed Bo Jackson. Bo Jackson said the same thing. He was like, "There's too much celebration in today's game. Like they celebrate over everything.
Yeah.
Every single play they celebrate.
Every player celebrates every play.
I used to love
There's a sack,
Larry.
there's a tackle in the backfield,
There's time to
defensive
celebrate.
player. Yeah. It's
score a
just,
touch-
it's out of, yeah.
You score a touchdown, you score points, or you win the game. That's plain and simple. That is the only times you should celebrate.
I loved watching Larry Fitzgerald because he would just hand the ball back to the refs every time he scored.
Yep.
Yeah,
That's what Barry Sanders did.
Not
many
Barry
like
Sanders
him.
did the exact same thing. Yep.
Wait till you get to the sideline. You can do whatever you want on the sideline, like literally anything.
Right.
You
Yeah.
can do as many like hip thrusts as you want. There's not a count of 2 being good, 3 being the kicker like Rico Dowdle. There's no maximum. Get at it.
Yeah, I mean, what's
at
the
it.
old
So-
saying go? Act like you've been there before. Like, I get it if you're a 5-year vet and this is your first touchdown and you want to celebrate, fine, I get that. But like, if you're a running back or a wide receiver in the league and you're a Pro Bowler, you're in the end zone quite often. Like, this isn't your first time in there. Like, just you don't need to do none of this dumb stuff. Like the whole TO thing back in the day. Like, yeah, some of that stuff was funny. Like, all right, I'll give it. Randy Moss mooning Green Bay. All right, that was funny. And I can say that because Christy's not on, and I know she's not a Green Bay fan, but like, I'm sure she had to deal with a lot of that. But like, now it gets out of hand with all this stuff, man. It really does. Like, I can't stand. Ben, you said it. After first down, like the pointing and like dropping the football and doing all that stuff. Look at the scoreboard. If you're down by like double digits, knock that shit off. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, what are you
don't
doing?
You don't got
Like,
time
it makes
for
no
that.
sense at that point.
Every second is precious. When you're down 1 score, multiple scores, multiple possessions, every second counts. You're running that 2-minute. You're running that hurry up. But you got to take a 3, 4, 5 seconds to be like, oh, let's go. Yeah, look at me. Like, come on. What are we doing here? Suicides after the game for that crap. Okay. We'll bring back Herb Brooks from the dead, and he'll have him coach football. We'll see how much they like that.
There you go.
So are we?
Speaking of Herb
almost
Brooks,
ready
we were
for
talking
our-
about the Olympics.
Uh,
But yeah. Actually,
Yeah,
we'll skip over the Olympics.
I was going to say I was going to leave more Olympics and a little bit of spring training and World Baseball Classic for next week. I think we've got probably just a little bit of time left, so I was going to go through the second installment of Lame or Gain. Did he get trivial with it? Did he, being myself? Did he? It's just trivial.
I'm still waiting for where the dig is.
Well, I didn't say it was like supposed to be a dig. It rhymes. So I purchased something that from my fantasy football winnings, and I will show that off, and we'll determine if it is lame or gain. for reference, I don't think anything that I am going to be showing over the next couple of weeks or months will be lame, but we'll let the audience kind of pick that. So, this one made me think about it after Christy came on and was talking about the Shakur Stevenson fight and where she was so into that and all that. And I was like, man, I remember those fights from the 90s and all that stuff. And there was one person that was a stalwart all through the 90s that everybody remembers. And it is Michael Buffer. So I got this boxing glove and it says, "Let's get ready to rumble" on it from Michael Buffer.
Wow.
Ooh.
Wow.
That's not bad.
Game.
Yeah, game.
Big time game.
That's awesome.
Not even like boxing, but
That's a
that's just
game.
like a all-time like sports
Yeah,
memento.
It
Yeah, I
is.
give that a game.
Yeah.
I give that a game.
You don't
That's
even
pretty
watch.
Cool.
And the reason I chose it is because the inscription was added. If it was just a signature, that's different. But the inscription that he wrote, I think that's really key to it. Kind of like I have a Joe Theismann mini helmet, and it says, the inscription says, "LT got me," from when Lawrence Taylor broke his leg. And I was like, that's one of the coolest things
That's
that I
actually
own.
pretty good.
Yeah.
So, do you have that in a case?
Yeah, Paul.
Or do you have it just loose like that?
What?
The glove.
The boxing glove?
The boxing glove.
Right now it's just loose. I got to figure out. I usually go to Michael's for most of my yeah, I will. For some kind of display stuff. I'll take a look, see what they got. I'm going to be needing to get quite a few things, it looks like, in the next couple of months. I've actually been holding things like this. I've been putting it really just in this wonderful apparatus that you like to comment on behind the football area. I keep it in one of the drawers, kind of safe there, so it's not going to fade or anything like that quite yet before I get something UV protected. But yeah,
love it.
Appreciate the input there. There will be much more. There's going to be some eye-opening things. There's going to be some that people laugh about. Some people are going to be like, "Holy crap, what did you get? Where did you get that?" And some of it's going to be like, "Why did you get that?" And most of the answers are because of this segment right here. I'm going to have to do some rearranging in the cave here if I'm going to put up some of this stuff, because it's definitely going to be taking up some space. But yeah, I definitely want to put this in a case and get this displayed somewhere. But awesome. I think that might take us to the end of Rumble. Let's go ahead and land this plane. If Kyle, if you want to take that time, you want to talk about this thing you do every morning or every couple of days in the mornings with your better looking bro, you can definitely go through that spiel if you'd like to. I know personally I'd love to hear it.
Yeah.
And so would all the fans.
Yeah. I mean, look, this day in Philly sports history with none other than Mr. Jim Montgomery. He takes down memory lane and talks about Philadelphia sports and what happened on this day in Philadelphia sports. So, as of yesterday, we were just celebrating the Super Bowl a year ago. So, that was obviously hot on the This Day in Philly Sports History podcast. So, if you ever want to relive those moments, and I know most of the people on this podcast would love nothing more than to relive all the greatest Philadelphia moments, tune in. It's available wherever you can get your podcast, where you can get this one. I will tell you, he does talk about the bad stuff in Philadelphia sports. And as you guys all know, there was a lot of bad stuff in Philadelphia sports. So he does talk about that.
So he talks about the fans.
Not just the good stuff.
He talks about the fans then, I guess.
I think you cut out. I couldn't hear you.
Yeah, no, I think you got. Don't worry, it'll come through pretty good on the final presentation, I'm sure. But yeah,
that's because our producer's a hater too. You guys are all haters.
Hey, when are we gonna get this?
We
day
do
in
hate Philly
sports,
fans.
The Uncut Gems game 7, Boston Celtics Sixers. The game I was actually at in real life. If anyone's seen Uncut Gems with Kevin Garnett and Adam Sandler.
I've seen it. Yes.
Adam Sandler. That was an excellent movie.
Yes.
I did not like the ending. I did not like it.
Was
I've never
wild
seen
ending.
that happen.
Absolutely wild.
Yeah, wild ending.
Yeah, that threw me. I'm like, holy bleep.
That's crazy.
Holy remix. All right. Before we lose Ben permanently, want to make sure he gets home safe for for supper. Hopefully his dad's cooking something good. We'll go ahead and send everybody off for the week, and we'll look forward to seeing everybody next week. Kyle, look up and say goodbye to the folks.
Thanks for letting me get on.
Stop freezing. Okay. All right. Bye
Have a
bye
good
now.
night.
See you guys.